Alright, I got some comments about the 209 primers being too much. And like I put in the comments of the other video, you don't have to use a 209 shot primer, but what it looks like is what was in here was a small pistol primer. So if the 209 primers are a little too much for you, they make you flinch, whatever, get yourself some of these small pistol primers. You can get them, they got the anvil in them, they're already made. And really all you're going to do is the same thing in the other grenade video, is you're going to drill the bottom out. If you've got a 2mm fuse, then you want to use a 2mm drill bit or something close to it. If you got a 3mm fuse that's going in there, use a 3mm bit. Really easy to understand. Poke, get it down through there, drill that way, poke the primer out. I lost the primer that I pulled out of there. I had to pull it out. I didn't knock it all the way out. I just popped it up and then I grabbed it with some pliers. It is a small pistol primer that was in there. It's the exact same size as this Winchester one. So just do that, and then you'll have to figure out a good way to seat that in there. But you can use small pistol primers instead of the 209 shot primers. And if you do use these small pistol primers, you might want to think about gluing a match head to the fuse inside there just to make sure it ignites. One thing real quick with these small pistol primers, you're probably going to want to shove the fuse all the way up through there so you have your end exposed. And then you're going to get yourself some of these. These are just regular white match heads. And glue that onto there somehow. And then take sure ignition, and then drag your fuse back into the fuse assembly, because a lot of times these small pistol primers aren't enough to ignite a cannon fuse. You could also just pour some powder into there maybe, but really, you know, all you need is a match head. I've done it with a match head. If you can see that, we've glued the match head onto there. I just use, you know, a very tiny little drop of super glue. And you want to make sure you pull your fuse all the way through, glue that on before you cut it, because you're going to drag this back down through into your chamber in there where it burns. And then that's, wherever you put that's going to determine where you're going to cut the end of your fuse. And you just want to make sure that you hold it on there tight enough until the glue sets, and then make sure your match head's small enough that you can get it back through that primer hole without any issues. And that's really all it. One of the issues you're going to run into with the small pistol primers is that if they are hard to seat, and you'll see that the anvil can fall out of it, and the little styphenate priming or whatever they use. So make sure, you know, you do this safely, and you do it in a way that's not going to jar the anvil loose out of the primer. One of the other reasons why you're supposed to never use these for explosives, besides it being illegal, is that you have your fuse burning and it's coming down this fuse tube here, and then finally it burns down into whatever your composition is. If you don't have a really good way to seal this fuse in there to keep the sparks from the fuse from traveling down the fuse tube and into your composition before the actual burn gets down into there, it can go off prematurely. So you're holding this, say you're a dumbass and you filled this with flash powder or something, you pull your pin, let go of it, the hammer hits the primer, it starts burning the fuse. You know, you'd think you'd have a couple seconds to throw it, but as soon as the fuse starts burning, if this isn't sealed with, you know, whatever hot glue, bentonite, clay, whatever you want to use, the sparks are going to come down this fuse assembly right into your composition and ignite it before it's supposed to go off. And it could be in your hand, it could be a foot from your face. So I mean, besides it being illegal, it's just a dumb idea to use this any other way except for like signaling devices. That could be smoke. You could put some kind of flare on it, I guess. I don't know, but you know, you get the idea. And I know I've talked about it before, but I do recommend this American visco fuse. In my experience, it seems to burn a little better than the Chinese stuff, and I say that because the Chinese stuff sends sparks flying out everywhere, and it can come down this tube again if the tube isn't sealed and burn into your composition before the actual end of the burn on the fuse gets down into there.